Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investors channel. My name is Sensei Crypto and today we're doing the Sunday show where we look at the charts, the crypto. Today we're focusing on NVIDIA and also SoundHound AI. We'll also look at SPCE, but we'll have a full analysis of NVIDIA coming up first. So thank you for tuning in. If it is your first time here, please do hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Let's get right into the video. So we are looking at NVIDIA to begin the show. Thank you for bearing with me. We do normally start half an hour before, so every Sunday we are here half an hour before the time you see right now. I just had lots of updates on all the software we use that I had to do. So we did advertise that, but thank you for bearing with us. Okay, let's get straight into it. So I'm looking at NVIDIA right now. We'll be turning this into a video, so let's get the charts ready and get rid of the interest rates. Let's see who we have in the show so far. Oh, I see Vaz is here. We'll get to that in a second. Let me see why this. But yes, this is if you I see we've got a lot of viewers. If you haven't seen me before, this is Martyn Lucas's channel. I do just have my own show on a Sunday where I give the chart perspective, my perspective, giving you guys a different view on it all. The charts, I'm just trying to figure out why there's a orange line through my chart. Let me see if we get rid of that. Okay. So I knew there would be something else that's gone wrong. Okay, we're fine, we're fine. So let's see your comments before we get into the video. Hi Martyn, everyone else. What is and when do you predict the next split going in a positive direction? And would it be going back to 20-1 split? So, when do you predict the next split going in a positive direction? Would it be going back to 20-1 split? Justin, if you're talking about NVIDIA, that wouldn't happen. If you're talking about SPCE reverse stock split, Justin, I don't know what stock you're 20-1 split. For what stock are you referring to, Justin? We have Bart here. Hello, Bart. Vaz is here. Hey up, Banana Heads. He says, "What a lovely weekend." Sensei was waiting for a steak dinner to update to medium from rare. Lol, says Vaz. And Stacey says, "Hi, friends." Okay. I think we've got plenty of people in, so do hit the like button if you have joined us. Sorry about the time change. Let's see how many people we've got in the show so far. 49, 50 watching and only 10 likes. So please do get those likes up. Once we get to 30 likes, I will do the NVIDIA special and give you my full analysis on the charts and where I think the stock is going. Let's refresh that and see how many likes. 17 likes, we're nearly there. If we get to 30 likes, I will do the NVIDIA special straight away. I won't make you wait. We'll do it at the beginning of the show. We are 54 watching. How many likes do we have now? Craig is here, welcome in Craig. 19 likes. Once we get to 30 likes, we'll get straight into the NVIDIA special. How many likes do we have now? And we have 28 likes. I think that's enough for us to get straight into it. Vaz is here. Burke says hello. Craig says good evening, Sensei, Martyn, Justin, Lou wants to look at MicroStrategy. If you do become a member or do give any sort of super chat, we'll look at your stocks right away. But what we're going to do now, I believe we have 30 likes. So what we're going to do is do the full NVIDIA analysis for you now. And for the people that won't be watching this live, we're going to turn it into a video. We've got 30 likes. Thank you very much. For the people that won't be watching it live, we're going to also turn it into a video so they can enjoy it as well. But because you're watching it live with me right now, you can leave your questions in the comment section, and I can always answer them in the live chat, and I can answer them live on the show. We've got the membership link, Alpha Spread link, X link, all in the chat right now. Okay. So I'm just getting the charts ready. We know we've been in a bit of a downtrend. We hit our target $100. We went all the way down to $90. Okay. I think we're going to use that chart. We're going to look at the interest rate decisions. And we're going to have a look at ChatGPT as well. Okay, let's do the video. Welcome in, everyone. Hit the like button on your way in. We're just about to start the NVIDIA special where I'm turning it into a video as well. We're just going to do an analysis on the price of NVIDIA. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. Today we're looking at NVIDIA Corporation, ticker symbol NVDA. We're doing a full analysis of the chart. I'm going to be looking at different zones, areas where I think the stock will be going to the downside and also potentially upside as well. There is a target on the charts of $200, and there's even a target of $30. So let me give you my thoughts and my reasons why both of those scenarios can occur and what I think is more likely. And we're going to have a full discussion. I'm going to give you my full thoughts on the charts. We're also going to look at what my AI software predicts where the stock is going, and see if any of our thoughts align and come out with a conclusion. So please do stay with us until the end, where I give my full thoughts once we run through every possible scenario. So right now, NVIDIA, as we know, has hit its all-time highs after the stock split at $141. And ever since, it's been in a downtrend. It has hit our first target of $100. We knew $100 was going to be a key support. A lot of people, a lot of analysts, bank analysts, trading experts were saying $100. I normally don't agree with them, but in this case I did, and we were live when that happened. We had a quick rebound off the $100, but unfortunately we did say it can come lower into the 90s, and it bounced the next time at 91. Let's see exactly what it bounced off at. It bounced at $90.74. That's where we went to, and that's been our low of the current trend at the moment. Is that the lows? Are we going to go lower? So let's have a think. So the chart at the moment was showing $100, between $90 and $100 strong support, and the reason why that was is there was an amazing run from NVIDIA from $40 to $100, and that $100 mark, specifically that $97 mark, proved as resistance. As you can see, when we came up all the way from the previous all-time highs, when we came sorry, we came, just need to move this a little bit, there we go. Let me give you the exact percentages. When we came up about 150%, we did retrace at that $97 mark. We retraced about 22% before we carried on to the upside. We tested it twice, and that was resistance before, and now it's trying to be support. So there is a logical reasoning why $92, $97 could be the bottom. It did drop below it, but as you can see with this candle here, it's a very bullish candle. It didn't spend much time below the resistance, below the support, and it regained the support before the day closed. And many traders will regard that as a bullish signal. The buyers were there, the shorters didn't take control of the market, and the stock recovered before the day was ended. And that is all true. I do agree with that. The support, technically, even though we broke below the $97, $95 key support area, we held it by the end of the day, and we came back above it. And traders, more importantly, people trading with millions of dollars for these hedge funds, for these banks, would see this as a bullish signal. So that's one thing that looks good. We've kept the support, we've held on to support. The trend, if you zoom out a little bit, the trend is very, very bullish. The trend is to the upside. Yes, there is downtrends, but ever since 2022, the trend has just been to the upside. It has been volatile. It has been a volatile stock, but the trend is very much the upside, and this trend doesn't seem like it's ending anytime soon. And there's no reason, apart from one reason, why it might end, and this is what I'm going to be keeping an eye on at the moment. If you do enjoy the video so far, please do hit the like button. We're going to be talking about lots of different possibilities, and by the end of the video, I'll give you my full thoughts on where I think this stock is going. Stay with me throughout it so you can see my reasoning of every step of the trading, why I think some areas are support, why I think some areas, why we can go lower and why we can go higher. It should all come together at the end, and you can see exactly why I think. I'll tell you at the end what I think is going to happen to NVIDIA, but please do hit the like button, leave your comments down below. So let's continue. The reason the trend is to the upside, you can just clearly see with a trend line, we've had touch points 1, 2 already. That was showing us higher lows, and what that means, the term higher lows, people ask me, what does that mean? Higher lows means the stock is trending to the upside, but when it sells off, the new low that is being put in is higher than the previous low. So as you can see, the trend is to the upside. There is higher lows. And what I mean by higher lows, I'll say it again, every time we go up and then we correct, the next low is higher. We go up, we correct, the next low is higher. We go up, we correct, the next low is higher. We go up, we correct, and the next low is higher. And I'll continue until where we are now. So we continue to go up, we correct, the next low is higher, we go up to the all-time highs currently, and where we've corrected to currently $90, and the next low is higher. What does that mean? Why is that important? Well, firstly, it's the trend. The trend is your friend. If the trend is to the upside, there's no reason to doubt that it will continue. And the reason that is that these higher lows, what they're indicating is that there's more people owning the stock. There's every time there's a higher low, the stock price isn't being brought below the last low because more people are owning the stock, more people are happy to hold on to the stock, more people are confident in the stock. And you can see that the trend for NVIDIA for a very long time, obviously we had more of a bear market between 2021 and 2022. That's when there was lower lows and less people holding it. But ever since we've broken out of that bear market, we have had lots of people owning the stock, coming into the market, and not wanting to sell it. So that's another tick. That's another reason. So now we've got two positives. First positive, we've held support at $97. Yes, we broke below it, but we came straight back above it. So we've held support at $97. What do we do next? The trend has been to the upside for over 2 years, and that trend hasn't changed. And back to the trend, what I'm keeping an eye on, going back to what I said about I'm keeping my eye on something. What I'm keeping my eye on is the trend. I think the trend is very important. When would I get a bit nervous? I would get a bit more nervous once I see this trend changing, that the trend to the upside. And what would need to happen? There is this trend line here. this green trend line, which is connecting to these two dots. It doesn't matter that we've broken below it. It just doesn't mean we're in as steep as a trend. But what would be concerning is if we don't regain it. If we in the next week, 2 weeks, we're not showing that we're growing to the same angle to the upside, meaning the growth of the stock isn't staying consistent, isn't staying too bullish. It's losing momentum. Right now, the momentum is shown in this trend line. The momentum is to the upside. It can have corrections. The trend isn't changing, but the momentum might be slowing down. And once momentum slows down, then it's at risk of changing trend. Right now, we can't draw that conclusion. Yes, it's below that trend line, but that's why I'm keeping my eye on it. I don't. If I see it below this trend line for another week, then I would start saying to myself, we're losing momentum. We're stuck on this support. If we keep touching this $97 support level, then we will drop lower, and that momentum will continue to the downside. And then what we're at risk of, if we stay below this trend line, the momentum stops. We keep testing the 90. Remember, if you test a support level many times, you'll break through it. You're knocking at the door. You're smashing a door. The more times you smash the door, the more likely you'll be let through. This support level, if we continue, let me show you what let me visualize what I'm saying. This green line here is the trend line. You can see it if I zoom out. This is the trend to the upside. We're below the trend line now. If we continue below the trend line, what will happen is we'll be testing this support area as well, this $97 support which we've held so far. That would show me the momentum is changing to the downside. It will then start testing the support a few times. The more times you test the support, the more likely you're going to be to lose the support. And what would be likely to happen is we'll drop the $97 support, we'll test it and turn this support will no longer be support, it will be resistance. And then we'll go to the downside and then we'll be at our next target, which would be about $75. Is that the end of the world? Is that the end of the trend? No, it is not. It would be forming a more of a midterm downtrend, but the main trend, which is the important trend, which we've had for 2 years, is still higher lows to the upside. So let's imagine that plays out. We don't regain this trend line. We go sideways. We knock on the $97 support. We break through the support. Where are we going? Where's our next buy zone? So we're on to our first buy zone. If you are enjoying this full analysis, please do hit the like button, leave your comments down below, and I do appreciate you tuning in for this video and live stream if you're watching it live. Let's continue. I do have some targets to the upside as well, but let's continue to my next buy zone. So now we're looking at the buy zone. So if that scenario plays out, where am I looking to buy next? I'm looking to buy at the $74 to $70 range. That coincides with some Fibonacci points. It also coincides with the previous low, about $75. So the scenario is played out. Let's say the scenario plays out, you stay below the trend line, you knock on the support and you fall through the support. Next buy level is $76. And the reason I said it's not the end of the world is because the trend is very much the upside, and the last low from before is at $76. So the trend, there's a very high possibility that that traders will want to keep the price above this $76 zone. This is the last low, as you can see here. This is why it's an important zone. It's the trend line is mainly formed from this high, this previous all-time high with this drawback, and also the last low. If we break a low, then what we're creating is a lower low. For the first time in the midterm trend, instead of having higher high, you're going to have sorry, higher low, you're going to have higher low, lower low. The trend is changing, bear market approaching. You can come lower, the trend can go all the way to $30. So that is unlikely to happen in my opinion. I don't think you're going to change the trend. I think a lot of people, and I think that's why it's a very important buy zone. I think a lot of people would come in and want to buy this stock and stop it from changing trend, because once it changes trend, a lot of people might call me crazy for saying this, but Nvidia can come down to $40 if a recession comes, if there's a hard landing, if the Fed don't reduce interest rates. Look at this right now. The rate probabilities for the 18th of September and the next meeting, it's basically a 50-50 whether or not they're going to cut rates or not. If they don't, sorry, let me just make sure I've got that right. No, it's not a No, sorry, do excuse me. No, that's my first mistake. Let me make it clear. It's a 50-50 whether or not they're going to cut by 0.25 or 0.5. So we don't have any idea what they're going to do. Are they going to ease off too little, which in my opinion would be 0.25, or are they going to have a rate cut of 0.5? A lot of people want a rate cut of 0.5% now, and if they don't get it, they've created this this uncertainty in the market where everyone's expecting a 0.5% rate cut, and they think the market needs it. So if they don't get it, a 0.25 rate cut won't seem as good as it used to. So there's a few things to consider. The rate cuts might force it to come down. If the rate cuts are too late, which a lot of people are predicting, if there's going to be a hard landing, don't think you're safe. Nvidia can go to $40, and that's my warning. I don't think it will go to $40. I'm just saying there is, in no world is it not a possibility and Nvidia will go to $40. There is a world where Nvidia will go to 40%, and that can include a black swan event. It can include a hard landing. It can include a flash crash. It can include a sudden recession. It'll probably be the bottom. If there was a worst case scenario, it'll probably be the bottom. So I would always have money on the side to buy the stock at $40. But what makes me think that we'll hold $75 is because we want to keep the trend to the upside, and a lot of traders would want to keep the trend to the upside. So I think that would be my next buy zone. Again, remember, I'm not giving any financial advice. I'm just giving you my reasons, my thoughts, and what I'm doing with my own money. And that's why I'm thinking for myself, the next level would be the last low, would be the previous high. Is the support level around $75. So that's my first buy level if we do come down lower. Now let's look to the upside. Now let's say it's a soft landing, they cut rates by 0.5, and the stock market continues its rally. Where do I see Nvidia going, and do I have price targets? Yes, I do have price targets. Let's flip this around. We've looked at the downside case. Now let's look at the upside scenario. And at the end, I'll tell you what I think is more likely. The bullish case. So far, we are fairly bullish. We've held the support. We've come down. And below the support, but we quickly got bought up intraday. We do need to get above the trend line. We need to get above this trend line this week. Let's say we get above the trend line, we start trending back to the upside. What do we need to do? We've got this trend to the downside, as you can see in this medium short-term structure. We have lower highs. Remember, the trend is your friend. Right now we've got lower highs, lower high, lower high, and I'll show you what I mean. That's the high, that's a lower high, that's a lower high, that's a lower high. This is sort of a lower high, but those were our main lower highs. What do we want to see next? We'd want to see us breaking that structure, and what that would mean is just, let's say this, but the markets go something like this. You come to this trend line, a little bit of resistance, and then you finally make a new high over here. That would be above the last level, the last high, and they'll also be above the previous high. And now you've got a new trend. You don't have these lower highs. Now you've got a higher high, and then the trend will continue to the all-time highs at 142. 142, you'll have a little bit of resistance, and what you want to see is not a dramatic pullback. You want to see a small pullback, as that will be resistance as its all-time highs, and then you want to see it break above 142, a test of 142, and then where my target. So my first target will be all-time highs, which is 142. You might sell a little bit there because they'll probably have a little sell-off, and then you can buy back at maybe 136. Once it passes all-time highs, and of course NVIDIA will at some point, so whether or not it's now or later, the first target for me, if we don't make a new low, would be $174. And remember, I'm taking this Fibonacci point from the low that we've had recently at $90. If we do go lower than $90 before we make all-time highs, this Fibonacci point will no longer be valid. So do take that with a grain of salt. But that's $174. And then after that, you would have my next level at 233, which doesn't actually correspond to this Fibonacci, so that is a level that will be there for a while. I think that coincides to a different Fibonacci. Let me see if I can remember which one. So it's not there. Let's go to the weekly charts for a second, and I'll tell you my higher price targets. I just want to see if I've put a level of 233. I know it's an important level. I'm just trying to remember where that data was taken from. It's probably in one of my previous videos. If I remember what it is, I'll write it in the comments below, but 233 will be an important take profit zone as well. While we're on the weekly chart, you can see that the trend is very much the upside. We are in a parabolic trend for NVIDIA, and this is why I'm saying the momentum, you don't want it to shift too much. You want to hold the support at $97 and continue to the upside. Let's go back to the daily and we look at the RSI. Is the RSI bullish or bearish? We've seen two scenarios now. We've seen the bearish scenario where the main support will be around $75, and you know how we'll get there. We'll lose the support if we lose the support at $97. We've seen the bullish scenario where we would have to come up and break this trend of lower highs, and that would take us to $142 as our first target, and the other target I mentioned between $180, I think it was. Now looking at the RSI, what do I think is going to happen? Are we going to have the up? Is it going to be bullish or are we going to be bearish? What side are we going to take? So the MACD is trending to the upside on the daily. We can look on the 3-day as well. That's trending to the downside, so that's not good. Let's look at the weekly. Trending to the downside. It might have formed a bottom though, we don't know. It's a lagging indicator, and to the 4-hour it's green. So the MACD unfortunately is conflicting, not really telling us much. The daily is showing us that the momentum is slightly changing. It's still red, which is not good, but it's, as you can see, it's slightly trying to get towards the green. The 3-day and the 1 week, which is more of a long-term indicator, it's very low, but just because it's very low, it might be the bottom because it's a lagging indicator. If you look at different areas, we could just be seeing something like, if you look to the right of my screen, we could just be seeing this candle over here, and then from now on it could be going up. The momentum could be shifting, so do take that into consideration. It has been coming down. The momentum, even though it doesn't look like it's coming to the upside, the size of the bars is getting less and less, the percentage change, so it is coming to a bottom maybe, and the weekly is not looking as good as the daily or the 3-day, but that might also be a bottom. So the MACD slightly bullish. I wouldn't say it's very bullish. Some people would take that as negative because it's red, but I'm taking it as slightly bullish because it's the momentum's changing to the green side. The next indicator to look at for me, and the only other one I really do need to look at, will be the RSI, the relative strength index. Is it overbought? Is it oversold? Right now on the 3-day time frame, it's down here. I'm looking over here. It's at 50, which is bang in the middle, so not bullish, not bearish. So 3 days not telling us much. The weekly, again, more of a long-term indicator, is at 54, so just above average. So that's not looking like it's oversold or overbought. Nothing to take away from that. The daily, the daily RSI is actually it's not oversold. It's in the bearish control zone, meaning bears are in control because it's below 50. It's actually sat at 42. So it's not oversold. So that's not bullish. And then if you go to the 4 hour, that's at 50. So the RSI and the MACD on the whole aren't telling us too much at this moment in time. If we do see a sudden rise or a sudden move to the downside, for example, if we get to 73 very quickly, you would probably see the RSI come to a very oversold position, and that along with the other support would tell us it's a great buying opportunity. The RSI right now at this level is not saying it's a buy, it's not saying it's a sell. We are at support, or we're just above support. So for me as well, the exact level we're at now is not it's not a buy. My buys were below 100, were at 95. Firstly at 100, and secondly at 95. Yes, we did go all the way down to $90, but right now it's not a buy for me. If we come back lower, I guess we're at support, but remember, if we touch support too many times, we can break through it. So I've done my buying at this level. The next area I will be buying will probably be around $75. Is there any bearish or bullish divergence? Let's have a look. Not on the daily, in regards to the S&P, and on the 3-day, nothing yet. And on the weekly, no, we've got higher highs and higher lows. Higher highs on the RSI, higher highs on the chart. So that's not giving us any momentum. So the indicators not telling us too much currently. Let's quickly look at what the AI tool has to say, get some more information before I make my final verdict on the stock. If you are still watching, please do leave a comment down and do hit the like button. I would really appreciate that. Let's have a look at what ChatGPT, our AI model, has to say about this. I said what recent news or events have impacted the stock price and what's the sentiment around it. Remember, these news events will either take it below support or make it hold support, so it's important to see what's going on. Recently, Nvidia's stock has been impacted by a few key events and developments, most notably the anticipation about the company's upcoming earnings report on August 28th, 2024 has driven significant interest. Analysts are expecting a strong performance with a revenue potentially growing 111% year on year, which could have a big impact on the stock's price. However, any miss on these expectations could lead to volatility. Another factor influencing Nvidia's stock is the reported 3-month delay of its next generation Blackwell chips. While this news initially weighted on the stock, many analysts believe that Nvidia's dominant position in the AI and semiconductor markets will minimize the long-term effect. The company the company is still seeing strong demand for its current generation of chips, and the delay is expected to only push the revenue out by a few months. Overall, the sentiment around Nvidia remains bullish, with some analysts even projecting a 42% upside potential for the stock in 2024, driven by company's continued leadership in AI, GPU technologies, and its ambitious growth plans. So it is bullish and also bearish at the same time. So analysts are projecting upside, 42% upside. Analysts are projecting the earnings are going to be great. Analysts are putting numbers on how much they think Nvidia is going to beat earnings by. Analysts have already said what they estimate earnings to be, or we have estimated earnings, and now analysts are looking for how much it will outperform earnings. What this does, it puts a lot of pressure on the stock price once we come to earnings, which is in 17 days, and we're covering it live on this show, on this channel. Once it comes to earnings, the pressure it puts on the stock, if the stock meets expectations, the stock price will drop. In my opinion, I think the stock price will drop if we meet expectations and we don't beat on expectations, because everyone is thinking that Nvidia is this great company that will beat on earnings every single time. So if they don't beat, that will be a surprise, and that will bring the stock price down. God forbid Nvidia doesn't meet expectations, then the stock price will horrifically come down. I think we'll see that $75 a mark tested, and there'll be a lot of pressure on that level, and I think it will hold that level, and that's why I have a buy zone at $75, and that's why I don't use margin. If you're going to get margin called at $75 or $70 on your position on Nvidia, then I'll take a second look at I'll look at that again, because an earnings which you don't have any idea how it's going to go, um, can in seconds liquidate you, and you'd lose all your money. And the worst part about it is, if you get liquidated on your position, Nvidia drops to $75, and you get margin called at $76, or let's say you just get liquidated at $76, it is very possible that in 5 minutes after you get margin called, or 5 minutes after you get liquidated on your position, that the stock price will be above the level that you got liquidated at. Reason being, let's say they miss on earnings, or let's say they miss on earnings, the stock price falls to you'd get liquidated at $77, the price falls to $75. Because there's so much support at that area, the price may bounce 10% very quickly at $75, and then you're back at $82 5 minutes later, and you've lost all your money. So that happens a lot. So that's how a lot of people lose out. I've heard many stories like that. So be careful. That's another way where we can hit the next buy level, and that's why these analysts putting out all these bullish stories can also, even though it says it's bullish, it can also be bearish. The next question: if there's a hard landing and a recession, give me an estimate of the price it can go down. And if there's a soft landing, where do you think the price will bottom? And also, in both cases, tell me where you think the stock price will be in 2 years' time. I'm asking it for a prediction. Hard landing and recession scenario. Remember, I think that there's two main ways this can happen. It could be a hard landing. The Fed didn't reduce interest rates quick enough. The interest rate. I just saw one of the comments saying, so this man is saying Nvidia might go up, it might go down. Got it. Thanks. I'll address your comment now. This is made during a live video. Yes, of course, I can't predict the future. If you listen to anyone on YouTube telling you exactly how that they 100% know how a stock's going to go, then I would, if I was you, I'd block that account and never look at it again, because no one can predict the market 100%. I can only give you my opinions, and I can only give you my rationale. You can't predict the market. You can't say if Nvidia is going to go up to 130 or it's going to go up to $70, go down first or second, or when it's going to happen, what day, if it's going to go up first or if it's going to go down. All you can do is set yourself up in a position where if either happens, you're okay. If either happens, you don't lose your money. If either happens, you are positioned where you make enough gains while hedging your bets. So you can't so it's a funny comment where it says it might go up, it might go down. I don't know if you're joking, or if you're being sarcastic, or if you're expecting me to tell you exactly how the stock price is going to go. I can't tell you. I'm just going to tell you what some likely scenarios are, so you're prepared if those scenarios take place. But let me continue, and then I will tell you what I think is more likely to happen, but you have to be prepared for all these scenarios. So it said, in the event of a hard landing and recession, Nvidia's stock price could face substantial downside pressure. High growth tech stocks often see sharper declines during economic downturns due to reduced corporate spending and risk off sentiment among investors. A potential 30 to 50% decline from the current price could bring Nvidia's stock price down to a range of $52.38 to $73. So it's saying, because it's a high growth tech stock, they normally correct more than, let's say, an ETF or a stock like Coca-Cola or J&J, and it's saying normally about 30 to 50%. That will take us to either 52 or $73. Remember, I gave my target of worst case scenario coming down to somewhere um, near $40, $30 to $40. Of course, that is the lowest I think it can go. There is also significant support at $50, and if there is a hard landing, I would be buying at $50 as well. I wouldn't just be waiting for $40, $30. I don't think that's very likely. If there is a hard landing, $50 is a very significant support as well, which corresponds with a typical downtrend in a hard landing scenario, and it's saying $52, $50 is strong support. A soft landing scenario, in a soft landing scenario where the economy slows but avoids a severe recession, which is sort of what we're seeing now, Nvidia stock might experience a mild correction. A decline of around 15 to 25% is more likely, putting the stock in a range of $78 to $88. We have already seen a 15 to 25% correction, so you never know. We can only look back on it and say it's been it was a soft landing, and we might be living through that right now. The 2-year outlook, regardless of the short-term economic conditions, Nvidia's long-term growth potential, and I think it's better. For a lot of people want to be traders, but I think it's more important to buy and hold. That's the sentiment Martyn is likes to push for, and it's the sentiment I like to push for as well. Even though I love charts, I think holding long-term is much more sensible. And if you're holding long-term, you really don't have to worry as much. Um, Nvidia will still make all-time highs. It just might not make it in the next 6 months. It might not make it, but by the time your call option expires, it might not go down. By the time your put option expires, it might not. Yeah. So, a 2-year outlook for the long-term investors watching this video, or the people that want to change their position into more of a long-term position. Here's the 2-year outlook from ChatGPT. Let's make sure we're still running okay. Yes, we are. In a hard, Regardless of the short-term economic conditions, Nvidia's long-term growth potential remains strong, especially with its leadership in AI, GPUs, and cloud computing. Assuming the company continues to execute well and the broader economic environment stabilizes. In a hard landing scenario, after the initial decline, Nvidia could recover to levels around 120, 150 in 2 years as the economy recovers and the demand for AI continues to grow. In a soft landing scenario, Nvidia could recover more quickly, potentially trading around 150 to 180 in 2 years, reflecting its continued leadership. So that's saying from levels like now, I would say it would probably be higher, but you should be happy with either of those situations. $150, $180 from where we are now is 50 to 80% moves up, and in a 2-year period, that is still a very good return on investment. And remember, that's saying after a recession. So if a recession comes and let's say it's a hard landing, if it's a soft landing, we might have already seen the dip, but probably go lower to maybe that first target of $75. So from $75 to $150, it's a double basically. And if it's going to $180, it's more than 100% move. And if it's a hard landing scenario, you're probably going down to at least $50. And if you go back up to $150, then you're definitely making more than 150%. So it's more than from where the levels we are at now. Soft landing, if the recent decline in I don't think we need to read this any further, but yes. Okay, let's make my final thoughts on Nvidia. If you have watched all the way to the end, do let me know in the comment section, and let me know what stock I should review next. Thank you for sticking with me throughout the video. Do let me know if you've watched throughout the video once this comes out. This was made during a live show. We are live every Sunday. If you come into the Sunday live shows, there will be a link down for the next Sunday live show where you can interact live with me. If you want to ask for your own favorite stock, if you've got another significant holding, which isn't NVIDIA, you can also ask. You can do a super thanks at the bottom of this video, or you can do a super chat on the live show, or you can become a member on the live show and ask me. And if we're not very busy, I might just do it anyway. So join me in my next Sunday show, where we'll be reviewing maybe your next favorite stock. Okay, so back to my final thoughts on NVIDIA. I would have to look at something like the S&P 500 to give me a broader idea of where I think the stock market's going. I think we're in an area where we're probably going to head up further for the next few weeks, in my opinion. So NVIDIA will probably continue with it in terms of just we can call them pros and cons of this stock. Remember, we are above support, which is good. We're below the trend, which could be lowering its momentum, so they sort of counteract each other. Um, I think I'm more bullish than I'm not, but just slightly. I think it's better. I don't want to give. I'm not going to say I think we're going to recover to all-time highs before we hit $75. I think, in my opinion, $75 is an area where we can easily come down to. But also, NVIDIA is such a strong performing stock that it might get away from us. So if you're waiting to buy it lower, that time might never come. In my opinion, it's more likely than not we'll see lower prices. $75, I think, more likely than not. But there is a chance you will miss buying at levels like this, around the $100 mark. So you have to look at your own investments. I can't give financial advice. I'm giving my opinions. I'm giving my thoughts. I'm saying $75 is likely to come. $50 in a scenario where we get a recession. Of course, I can't predict the future. I can't say there's going to be a recession. $50 is coming. 100% that's happening. If I could say that, I would be going off, finding every penny I have, and start trading the market. Started putting on my put positions. If I know there's a recession coming, there's a lot of money I could make, but we never know anything for certain. We just had to plan for every scenario. So remember, if it's a hard landing, $50 is likely. If it's a soft landing, or if we get bad earnings, then $75 is likely. If we don't get bad earnings, if we stay above this support at $97 for the next 17 days before the earnings comes out, and the earnings is positive like expected, then it's quite possible that we recover to all-time highs very quickly. And that's my final thoughts. So if you did enjoy the video, please do like it. Please leave me your thoughts. There will be 2 other videos here and here if you want to check them out. My name was Sensei Crypto. Thank you for joining me for the review. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. 47.15. I don't know when I started. I think that's probably the longest review we've done. Let's have a look at the comments. How many likes do we have firstly? Yes, the NVIDIA earnings are going to be live on the show. Let's refresh this. We had 30. It's your time to ask questions. I've done the video now, so if you have any questions about that, I am going to do a video on what was I going to do it on? It must be in the title. It's SPCE as well, but SoundHound. Yes, SoundHound. 60 likes. Thank you very much. 76 watching. It's a great show. Leave me your thoughts. What do you think about the NVIDIA? My analysis on that. MicroStrategy hit me with some good news. Well, hopefully you saw some good news in that. Why is my camera gone? Development Alert is here. Thank you for joining us, Development Alert Uganda. It says smash the like button. Apart from NVIDIA, what are your 3 favourite stocks in the sector? I'm assuming one might be AMD. Yeah, I think AMD is. I think if you're looking in the sector, then NVIDIA is probably best. And then, I mean, Apple, Tesla even do stuff like. What do you think the week ahead holds for NVIDIA? Says Dynamic Comics. What do I think the week ahead? I think the week ahead, hopefully we sort of hold the $97 region, don't fall below that, and I mean you don't want us to fall below $100 anymore. So what do I think the week ahead? I think we can at least make another attempt to make a higher high, and by that I mean we can try and break the last high, which is 120. We might hit that, or try and break 110 and then try and break 120 would be nice to see. Good evening, James. James is here. Have you had a haircut, Sensei? Your hair's looking smart this evening. Oh yes, I must have had one between. Yes, I did have a haircut this week. Yeah, early in the week. So thanks for noticing, James. Smash the like button, says Vaz. Smash the like button. Development alert, Uganda. Thank you for joining us. But Zach, our charity partner in Uganda, does amazing work, and I try and help out whenever I can. And I apologise that I haven't done as much as well, I can't, but I am always thinking about you, Zach. Thank you for and tuning in. James says the trend is your friend. That is very, very true. Has anyone seen Mike, by the way? Mike's not in tonight, I don't think. I think we can give him a day off. We do have James, who's a moderator, in, which is good. Don't forget the NVIDIA earnings. No, we are going to be covering the NVIDIA earnings. Don't worry. There is a poll running on X, by the way, as well. If you want to click up here, you can see the poll on X. Hi Sensei, what are your thoughts on Rocket Lab? Another good launch today and good earnings last week. Let's have a quick look at it for you. So, and we've already addressed the person's comment about, so the man is saying NVIDIA might go up, it might go down. Got it. Well, of course. It's not going to just go sideways. It might go up, it might go down. And I explained what I mean by that. Henrik, I seriously don't understand Rocket Lab stock. They had successful launch after the launch, developing new rockets, engines, making profit, but the price is going nowhere. What else do they need to do to get the stock price growing? I know Vaz, I don't understand either, but they are doing a good job, so hopefully it will go up in the future. Is Palantir legit? I want to start position, but it seems overpriced. I think Palantir's gone up too much recently, so I wouldn't want to buy in now. But again, not financial advice. You look at it and you think, make your own decision. Now, if you want to give a super chat, we can look into the buy levels for you, and I can give you my thoughts, but I can't give financial advice. That says there are, and no one actually can give financial advice on YouTube, even if you're a financial advisor, because you don't know anyone's positions. So don't listen to anyone on YouTube for financial advice. Take their opinions and make your own decisions. Vaz says they're one of the most reliable space businesses. Exactly. I think Friday night Mike will have to go for milk or go tidy up the shed so he can watch the show for at least 10 minutes. Okay, we've got through the comments. There's no comments about NVIDIA, does it seem? So if you have just joined us for the first time, do let me know you're here. And let's make sure we've got everything running smoothly. Stream is healthy, viewer activities. Okay, let's continue into the show. I've just got a request to quickly look at Rocket Lab, so we'll do that first. And then we'll go on to our next video. Rocket Lab. Well, it has jumped in price. Yeah, it was. I remember on my watch list on Friday, it was my highest performing stock, 13% up. So that's good. Bounced off support. I mean, if the company's doing well, if it's making profits, don't worry, the stock price will follow. It just might take time. But remember, we were reporting about the 3.72 cents level. It was a very good support level. My only concern was we've hit it a few times. If we don't regain the level, then we might continue down lower. Thankfully, after maybe a week, we did regain the level, so we're obviously bullish, and that's the buy level. The last one is 367. Now we're at 537. So Rocket Lab, I don't know too much about the company. I haven't been following it. If it is making profits, if it's making money, new technologies, then this could be a bottoming out structure. It does look like a reversal structure, maybe. You don't want it to, now you want to start seeing some higher lows, just like we're talking about NVIDIA. That has lots of high lows. This doesn't. This had a bottoming out. But if you come back down to this $3.70 level, um, if you come back down to this $3.70 level, it's going to be the same situation as here. You don't know if it's going to break below and continue its downtrend. What you want to start seeing now, I think we've seen the support been hit enough times now. What you want to see happen now is higher lows. You want to see that that's the low, and you don't want to go any lower than 350. And you've already got a higher low, it seems, from a couple days ago at 420. So you don't want to break 420. It can come all the way down to 450 and it'll be fine. 460, 440. You just want to see higher lows, and then eventually you want to break out of the structure here. So you want to break out of these few resistance levels. You're currently at one, an important one at $5.75. You want to break above that, then break above $7, break above $8. Once you basically break out above $5.75, you'll start your journey up, and this could be a bottoming out structure, and then you can really, this could be the bottom of Rocket Lab if the company is performing great, and then the stock price will follow. And right now the stock price is showing a potential bottom of a lifetime. Um, as in accumulation phase, a bottoming out structure, something where you sometimes see the stock price just accelerates the up price to maybe $15, $20, $100. This could be the bottom, but again, take it one step at a time. But yeah, Rocket Lab is looking good. Next short-term level to break is 575, and then you've sort of broken out of the accumulation structure, which is good. Thank you for the suggestion. DB has just come in and said, what's a good price to buy NVIDIA? Sorry, I just joined. It will come out as a video, so do look out for it. But we've spent 40 minutes talking about NVIDIA. 47 minutes, I can't talk about it any longer. If you skip back or wait until the video, you'll see the levels and my explanation. Okay, let's move on to, we're really running out of time, so let's quickly do, have a look at SPCE. And I've done the thing where I've spoken about Rocket Lab again. Okay, how have I done that? What I'm going to do is make a video about Rocket Lab quickly, because I think you raise a good point. Oh, we've just got a super chat coming through, so we'll wait for that to play. TB, thanks for understanding. You can literally just go back in the video and you'll be able to see. But I would recommend watching the whole thing. I'm just waiting for this super chat to come through from Vaz. Thank you very much for the £5, Vaz. I'll let it read it out. Wonder why it's not doing it. Might take a second. We're also just going to make a Rocket Lab video, then make an SPCE, two quick videos, one quick video on SPCE, one quick video on Rocket Lab, and also finish with SoundHound AI, maybe around 8 minutes each. I'm just going to wait for that to come. Oh, how have you done that, Mark? Oh, look at this. Let me show you what Vaz has donated. Vaz has said, can you have a look at Archer, please? Not massive earnings, but a lot of promising future and massive order book. of 6 billion commercial flights by 2026. Thank you very much. We'll have a look at it shortly. Martyn says, wow, thank you, but he's somehow linked it, which is very cool. I haven't seen that before. Flying Taxi Network LA by 2026, also working on military version of eVTOL based over $100 million contract with USAF. Okay, well, sorry I didn't read it out, but we're going to get into the video and we'll do we'll quickly do Rocket Lab, then we'll do your request, Vaz. We probably don't have time for too many other requests, but thank you, Vaz. We'll definitely do yours. The next few requests I can probably do, or I might just put it on the list to do at another point. Thank you for the super chats. If you do a super chat, I will always do a review on the stock. So let's quickly do Rocket Lab. Oh,
Vaz donated £5 through a super chat. Could you have a look at Archer, please? Not massive earnings but a lot of promising future and massive order book of $6 billion. Commercial flights by 2026.
breaking news on Martyn Lucas. As you can see, we've just got a donation to look at Archer. Our member is very bullish on this stock, it seems, so let's go straight into the video and see what my thoughts are on this stock. We have just got that come through, so let's have a look at Archer. Archer Aviation, it's on the New York Stock Exchange, ticker symbol ACHR. We are currently sat at a price of $3.64. We'll have to zoom out of, you're watching me do this during a live video. If you want to join me for these live analysis every Sunday at 9 PM UK time, I think about 3 PM Central time, you can find it on this channel. But back to the review. This IPO'd at $10 and went all the way up to $18, came back and found a space at $10 until it started moving the trend to the downside. The trend has been a few downside trends recently, all most of the time at quite a steep angle to the downside. We haven't had very many prolonged uptrends. We've only had one, and that was between 2023, between 10th of May 2023 and 13th of September. Those are just a few trends to show you, but right now the main trend is to the downside. Where do I see the stock going next, and where would be my potential buy zones? We do have some higher lows, and that does show us that the trend is changing to the upside, which is good to see. More people are owning the stock. In 2022, that was the bottom of this stock. It was it bottomed out at 162, and we then had another correction, and it bottomed out at 181. And more recently, it seems like our lows were at $3. This does indicate that more people are buying this stock, more people are holding this stock, and more people are confident to stay in this stock, which is bringing the price up. On the other hand, in more of a midterm structure, we have lower highs. Less people are in more of the midterm holders are selling their stock, and they are continuously selling their stock. So what it means is we're coming to a structure where there's a higher lows and lower highs. This structure will eventually meet and break out. Are we going to break to the upside or the downside? Is what we have to keep an eye out for. If we break below this trend line, there's two scenarios. For example, if we break below this trend line, we're probably going to come and test somewhere between the all-time lows. Either 197 might be a good buy zone, or it might be somewhere a bit higher to continue the trend to the upside, which would be nicer to see. If we come down to 289, that is still quite bullish for the stock because we are continuing our higher low situation in the longer term, meaning more people are buying the stock, the trend can change to the upside. Another way the stock can be bullish is if we go through a situation where the structure continues bouncing around in the structure and then breaks out, retests, and then where you're looking is a take profit zones, two zones. It can even be turned into a take profit rectangle where it's somewhere there. The reason I say that is previous support, previous resistance, and that will be your next take profit zone. If it breaks out of the structure to the upside, you're looking between $7 and $8, and that'll be my take profit zone. So where I'm putting my limit orders in case there's good earnings or for a longer term trade, I'm looking to sell the stock between $7 and $8. I'm looking to add more to my position around $2.73, and if we ever get as low as $1.78. Those are my midterm suggestions. There are longer term take profit areas as well, such as $20. But I think the main one after the $7 to $8 region is the IPO price, that area where we spent a lot of time just below $10. Do I think it can reach $10? Yes, I think it can. If this structure breaks the upside, we came down very, very quickly. That meaning we can go up just as quick. As soon as we break the $8 mark, we can be at $10 in a matter of hours. So I think I haven't looked into the fundamentals. We can always review it on the channel. If you like the fundamentals, the charts don't look too bad either. It's not one of those charts which is a penny stock. If that's going down every day, since IPO, it has been going down. However, it does show signs of accumulation. It does show signs that people that were buying it a year, 2 years ago, they haven't changed their mind. They're still holding on to the stock, and for that reason, I think there's potential for the stock. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you holding the stock? Have a look at, there's two videos here that you might enjoy on my right side here and here. You might enjoy viewing. Let me know what you think about the stock in this comment section below. Do take a note of the RSI, which isn't anywhere too significant. If the stock price drops very suddenly, you might want to buy out. But until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Okay, that was Archer. Do you have any other specific questions about that, Vaz? Yes, we're definitely going to do SPCE and SOUN. Let me quickly do, we'll just do a very, very quick Rocket Lab video. RKLB. Oh, you're happy with that, Vaz? Thank you. Thank you for your super chat. You support the stream every single week. So I do appreciate it. Quickly do one for Rocket Lab. What's the time? Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at Rocket Lab, ticker symbol RKLB. We're looking at a fact that this stock might have a once in a lifetime bottoming out structure where people are buying the stock, accumulating it, ready to send it to maybe $100. Let me show you what I mean. We have got this level. If we zoom out of the stock, you can see that we IPO'd around at $10. We went all the way to $20. We came very steep to the downside, where people might think of what would normally happen. For example, if you compare it to space, for example, the trend is to the downside, very steep move to the downside. You recover, you'd recover, and then you'll just continue your trend to the downside. Instead, what Rocket Lab is doing, it's not doing that. It came very steep to downside. Yes, the trend is down. However, it's failing to break down any lower, which is very, very bullish. It's the the bears are trying to push this stock below $3.50. They've tried month after month after month for a couple years trying to push it down below $3.50, and they've failed every single time. More people are buying it. There are higher lows. Some may say it's the same low. That is right, but within it, more people are holding this stock. At least they're not willing to sell their shares. Different market participants might be coming in and buying shares from other people. However, no one is willing to sell their shares below $3.60. And what we've got going on here is a bottoming out structure, accumulation structure, a structure where we haven't broken below 350. We're finally breaking to the upside. We've had another successful flight. We had a recent lows of 423, which is a higher low in the midterm. We're looking this week to break the main point, $5.75. Once we break $5.75, you can see how much congestion, contention, all those sort of words, how much congestion and contention we've had at this level. You can see we broke this level. We had resistance at this level, resistance. We had support, resistance, sudden move down, resistance here as well. Once we break $5.75, we're breaking out of this multi-year accumulation structure where we can suddenly break up to $7.37, maybe have a retest, break up to $8, maybe have a retest. Let me move it so you can see what I mean. Maybe have a retest, and then finally go into this structure where just as quickly as you came down, you can go up, meaning in about 62 days you came down 50%. So in about 62 days, once you break $8, you can go up 100%, and that might happen. And it's not an unlikely situation right now. It looks like Rocket Lab is trying to break out of a multi-year consolidation zone. We did have fears that we might break lower once we're breaking out the structure, but Rocket Lab held on strong. It was a forced breakout, and we did cover that. And now we're looking to see if Rocket Lab is ready to take off like their rockets. Leave me your thoughts down below. If there's any other questions you have, leave them down below. Do leave a like on the video if you haven't already, and there might be a video here and a video here that you might enjoy watching. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. It's 112. Okay, let's do SPCE. I would argue your angular support line is slightly off and we are below what was visible on the 4-hour. Blow up the 2022 chart and see similarities to Expert's bubble, assuming pattern holds $40. Oliver, which stock are you talking about? And I don't really worry too much about the 4-hour chart. If you're looking for it to go down to $40, then you shouldn't be looking at the 4-hour chart. It can vary by plus or minus 5-6%. It doesn't matter if you're looking at structure for it to go down to $40. It really doesn't matter how the line looks on the 4-hour chart. If it looks about right on the daily, it will be fine to see support and resistance, especially when you're looking for a trade down to $40. But thank you for suggesting that, and unfortunately we're past the NVIDIA section, so I can't go back to that. We are going to be looking at SPCE now. Let's quickly zoom in and see where we are. SPCE bottom, maybe. Where did I find the support from? I'm trying to remember. What was the reason for this support? Oh, there it is. High to low. Fibonacci. Did we hit it? Don't need the box. I think we hit it exactly, did we? It was at 531. What's the lows of 531? Yeah, we hit it exactly. Okay, let's make a video. How have I done that? I'll take that back just in case anyone doesn't think it was there before. Let me go back. There it is. Okay, we'll demonstrate that in the video. Okay, here we go. That's SPCE. Got the Fed tool here. Okay, let's do the video. Okay, the time is 1:60. One more video after this, and then we'll be coming to the end of the show. Thanks, Sensei, for looking Rocket up. No worries, Henrik. Breaking news on Martyn Lucas Investor. We are looking at SPCE, Virgin Galactic Holdings, on the New York Stock Exchange. We're going to be looking at, have we potentially found the bottom? Are we finally bottoming out on SPCE? Is there a chance to make a trade again? And is this a good time to buy? Let me give you all my thoughts in this video. Let's get straight into it. If you do like the SPCE content, if you do like that we're still keeping up to date with it, please do hit the like button. It really does help the channel and me out, and lets me know you like these videos. Do leave me a comment in the comment section below as well to leave me your thoughts. Are you still owning SPC, and what are your thoughts? We're looking at it on the weekly time frame first. As we all know, the trend has been horrifically to the downside, and that's why I've said it's one more to trade than to buy long term. But there is reasons why people buy, and I'm not a financial advisor. I don't give financial advice, so it's not. I can't tell you what to buy and what not to buy. I'm just here to present the facts, and the facts are looking pretty positive for SPC for a change. What do we have? We've got our first green weekly. We've ticked green on the MACD, which is an indicator showing the momentum is turning green for SPC. And once we turn green, it's very rare we turn green for a day or two. If we go green, we go green for a prolonged amount of time. And we have just hit green, so this might be the beginning of a turnaround for SPC. Looking at the RSI just below it, we are at we are at lowest levels of RSI for SPC. We have been oversold for a very long time. This must change, in my opinion. I don't think you can stay this oversold forever. We are at levels of 23 and 21 on the weekly levels. Let's move on to the daily. That's telling us more of a midterm situation that the SPC should rise, or at least come back up slightly. On the daily time frame, the RSI is not oversold anymore, and the MACD is still green. So that is good. And on the 3-day, which is between the week and the daily time frame, the MACD is gaining momentum nicely, which is bullish, and the RSI is oversold, which is also bullish because that means buyers must come in. So far, indicators are looking good. what is next to look at, which is another reason I'm making this video, is because we have a potential bottom. We have finally hit that level we're hoping to come down to, $5.25. It's where this green box is. I haven't changed any of these lines. I've just, before the video, confirmed where they are. And the reason we have this 525 level, Fibonacci points, low to high of the last structure, it takes us down to a level of $5.43. Let me make sure I've got this right. $5.43, something like that. Let me check. The Fibonacci takes us down to $5.50, somewhere around there. So that's why our level was around there, and we have just slightly gone below it. But we've finally we've hit the support. So we've hit our target, $5.50. We're very oversold on the RSI on the 3 days and the weekly. The MACD is turning bullish. We do have lower lows but higher lows on the RSI on the daily, which is sort of bullish as well, bullish divergence. So I'm actually looking forward to the next week of SPCE. I do think we do have a chance to break the structure. We want to start breaking above 778, $8, and accelerate quite quickly and try and maybe potentially get a short squeeze back up to $12 to $14. I think that is possible. I think we can get another 3x from SPC. I think SPC can surprise a few people. And again, it's one of those times where I'm willing to take the risk to buy SPCE. It's not many times I do it, but I don't mind trading this stock at the levels we are at now. And that's why I'm making this video. I think where we are now is potentially could be a bottom, but more likely it might be a nice area to take a trade to make some money, to buy some more SPC shares. That is the end of the video. It's not a long one, it's just a quick update for you guys. If you do appreciate the quick updates, if you do still hold SPC, please do hit that like button. Do watch these 2 videos we have for you over here as well. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. 120. And looks like that ran out of battery. I've got a light, but it's a battery operated light, so it might be a bit darker now because it's run out of battery. Let's do SoundHound AI. Yeah, so SPC is looking interesting. It's just finally hit that target. As you can see, Vaz just said it's looking interested. I didn't have a target between $14 and $5. Well, yeah, around $5.50, and we finally hit that $5.50 target. Yes, we went a couple cents below it, but that's a long way to go without a target, and we finally hit the target, and it's a Fibonacci point. It's 50% move to the downside. It does become interesting. And SPC always becomes interesting when it hits those points because it does recover nicely, and sometimes gives you 50-60% gains in a matter of days. So for me, it looks interesting, but again, it's very risky. I've got a massive moth in the room now. There's a moth in the room. Okay, good job we've only got one more video, otherwise that would drive me crazy. SoundHound AI. Thank you for the 64 people still with me. We need to talk crypto after SoundHound. Yes, we always seem to run out of time for crypto, don't we? But again, I mean, when crypto gets more interesting, don't worry, I'll leave the stocks behind and I'll be talking crypto 24/7. But as I've said, crypto's in sort of that boring phase where Bitcoin will rise a little bit, go to 80k, drop back down, and then maybe towards the end of the year might become a bit more interesting. But 2025, a lot of these Sunday streams will be more crypto focused, because I think it'll be more interesting. Right now, stocks seem to be more interesting. But if there's any specific questions, Stacey, let me know. Let's get into SoundHound AI. Had its earnings. Oh, okay. There's a massive moth. Let me try and catch. I know during the video it's just going to jump up on me. Oh no. Ah. Can anyone see it? It's on the wall behind me. Oh, I think it just it flew out and then it came back in. Great. I don't know if you can see it. Where's it gone? Sorry, this is not why you've tuned in to the shows. Where's it gone? Okay, I'm just gonna ignore it. It's so energetic, it just keeps flying into everything. Okay, let's finish the show with SoundHound AI.